when you and I take up this call and we talk about abortion, if we speak about it in church, we're told we're too political. If we speak about it in the political arena, we're told we're too religious. If we speak about it in the world of the media, it's too disturbing. In the world of business, it's too distracting. In the world of education, it's too controversial. In the streets, it's too disruptive. So abortion, if abortion is wrong, where do we go to say so? We go into the churches, we go into politics, into the media, into business, into education, and into the streets. Some churches haven't wanted to get involved in political hassles with the government, so they've been silent on abortion. They didn't want to get involved in hassles from the government. They didn't want to take the fight to the government. So now with the HHS mandate, the government took the fight to them. And when it comes to that mandate, we've got a simple message. We will obey God rather than them. As Alveda can tell us, her uncle said one day to the civil rights movement, we've got a lot of obstacles in our way, but we're not going to let anything turn us around. We're not going to let no dogs turn us around, no water hoses turn us around, no police clubs or jail sentences, and we're not going to let any injunctions turn us around. And so today I say to you, in the pro-life movement, no Planned Parenthood is going to turn us around. No biased media is going to turn us around. No HHS mandate is going to turn us around. No Obama administration is going to turn us around. We are marching for a certainty. And it's not only the certainty that we will arrive at the day of victory for the unborn, it is a certainty that the power which now dismembers them and crushes them and throws them in the garbage is a power which at its root has already been defeated.
Well, I'll tell you, Father Frank, it's amazing that we're actually sharing the stage with you. When Jason and I were kids, we met you in 1988.
Yes.
You look the exact same. He's got the same hair, the same glasses, and the same outfit. In 1991, that was the height of abortion. It was 2,197 freestanding abortion clinics in America. Today, thanks to the work of Priests for Life and other organizations and Christians and Catholics joining hands and uniting for life, there are less than 600 freestanding abortion clinics in America.
Hello and welcome to our program. Well, before I take your questions, I have a little treat for you. How many of you wear the Precious Feet? I have mine on right here. You can see them, right? Well, this past weekend, some people will say, oh, this is sad news, but it wasn't. The woman it was her idea, she founded the Precious Feet. She developed the company that made the Precious Feet. Her name is Virginia Evers, and Virginia was 99 years old when she passed away this past weekend, and two of her daughters were there holding her hands as they, saw her take her last breath. And I personally have known Virginia for many years. I know her daughter, Dinah Monahan, who actually, it was Dinah and Mike Monahan took over Heritage House, where the Precious Feet are from. So I wrote a whole story about Virginia and how, she came about the idea of the Precious Feet. And it was all the way back in the 70s that a doctor took a picture. He was holding the feet of a 10-week baby that had been aborted. And he did not do the abortion, but he found the baby, and he's held, and he took a picture, and it got published in a story. And Virginia saw that story of that little 10-week baby and said, oh my goodness, if everyone could just see those 10, those five toes on each foot, how precious those little feet are, they wouldn't have an abortion. That could save lives. And so Virginia herself had started this company to make patriotic jewelry, Heritage House. And her and her husband were very, very patriotic. And so for the bicentennial, which would be 76, would be when they started this company. And so then Virginia got the idea of the Precious Feet when she saw Dr. Sacco's picture. And so her company, while they still had some of that patriotic jewelry, they started making Precious Feet. And from that, Heritage House just blossomed into a company that does like all kinds, I call it pro-life swag. They make brochures, they make t-shirts, they do a Earn While You Learn training kit that you can get. Matter of fact, Virginia's daughter, Dinah Monahan, was the one who developed that. So if you don't have Precious Feet, you can go to their website, which is hh76.org, and there's a whole collection there of Precious Feet. Now, if you'd like to read the whole article I wrote, which goes into more details than I'm telling you now about Virginia Evers, just go to ncregister.com. That's ncregister.com. Of course, that stands for the National Catholic Register. And read the article, and if you want, share it, like it, and get it out there. Because you know what it is? There's a whole new generation of people, I don't think, that know about wearing the Precious Feet. And you know what? Babies are alive today because the conversations people had by talking to people wearing these Precious Feet, because people see it and they say, oh, what's that? Bingo. It opens the door to a pro-life conversation. And at Heritage House, I have it here because they happened to send this to me. They came up with a new campaign. Virginia's grandson, Brandon, came up with the idea, and he's the person now who is running Heritage House. This is called Wear One, Share One. And you get this little card, and it has two pairs of feet. And I actually put one on here, but it has 2 feet. And the concept is, and there's a kit here with, I think it gives you about a dozen pairs of feet or more in this kit. And the concept is you meet somebody and you give it to them and you say, you know what? I'm going to give you something that you can use to help save babies. All right. And the deal is you're going to take that first pin off the card and you're going to put it on. And now your job is to share it with somebody. So it's wear one, share one. So I think this is a great opportunity to read about Virginia Evers and just what a difference one woman can make. Just one woman with this small idea. Millions and millions of these Precious Feet have gone all over the world. I know here at Priest for Life, Father Frank and I always had them at conferences, on our table. We would buy them from Heritage House and just give them away, distribute them, let people wear those Precious Feet. So I know you can carry on the legacy of Virginia Evers. If you don't have Precious Feet, please go to hh76.org and get some today. They're a great way, in a nice way, to spread the pro-life message. Oh, there. See, someone's putting one. Wear one, share one. That's right. That's what this is. Wear one, share one. You can order these little kits too if you want to be ambassadors of this. It's a great idea. And it's, oh, for those who, you guys are all on Facebook, hashtag wear one, share one. So her son, her grandson put that down too. Anyway, and of course, Virginia, she had 6 children, 28 grandchildren, and 70 great-grandchildren. Now, there is a pro-life family for you, right? Anyway, so anyone who sent in a question, if I read your question on the air and you then email me your address, I'm going to send you a copy of my book, Recall Abortion. Okay, so for reading your question on the air today, a little extra bonus. All right. Be sure, though, if I read your question and you want your book, you have to send an email to orders@priestsforlife.org. Okay, let's see what our first question is today. Okay, it is uncertain when human life begins. That's a religious question that cannot be answered by science. I'm sorry, Tim. That's not a religious question. That's a scientific question. And there's a beautiful DVD and video. It's called The Biology of Prenatal Development. And it was actually done by not a pro-life group, by the National Geographic. So you can go to biology, just Google Biology of Prenatal Development. All right, you can Google that. And there's links there to get to it. And you can see these videos online. It actually shows the moment of fertilization, and then on, and how that little embryo grows, et cetera, et cetera. So yes, when life begins is a scientific fact. It's not a religious statement, and science proves that out. Okay, so sorry, not a religious argument, scientific it is. Francis Keller writes, thank you for all you do. In your opinion, really, how far are we from ending abortion? Well, when you say ending abortion, just like here at Priests for Life, we have a motto Father Pavone gave us. We're not just here to fight abortion, we're here to end it. And I think what you would say is we're here to end legalized abortion. Because when you think about it, abortion has been around, since even biblical times. All right. There were women and people who tried to abort children. Child sacrifice, as we know, happened in the Bible. All right. But what we're trying to do is to stop legalized abortion here in America. And because what goes in America seems to get exported all over the world. So if we can make abortion illegal here, meaning by overturning Roe v. Wade, the first thing that's going to happen is if Roe v. Wade's overturned when the day comes, not if, but when, it's overturned, but then it goes back to the states. So certain states are already passing laws that says if Roe v. Wade is overturned, abortion will be legal in our states. So like New York and California passed such laws. And in fact, New York, as you know, passed that horrible law saying not only will it be legal, but it's now currently legal in New York to abort a baby through all 9 months of pregnancy. So the question really is, are we close to it? I think we're closer than ever before to overturning Roe v. Wade. And that's why this election is so important. We need our pro-life president, Donald Trump, in the White House for 4 more years. The reason being is, in his first 4 years, we got 2 good pro-life conservative justices. And the odds are, at the age of those justices that are currently on the bench, like Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Breyer, they're both in their 80s. Chances are, over the next 4 years, someone else is going to retire. And in that case, the next president, hopefully it'll be Donald Trump, will get to name another Supreme Court justice. So, to answer your question, yes, we're close to see the overturning of Roe v. Wade, which will make abortion illegal in all the states, except the ones who have passed laws saying, oh, but in our state, we're still going to kill babies. But you might say, well, Janet, isn't that terrible that they're going to still have some states that has abortion? I said, yes. Even one abortion is one too many for me. However, when something is illegal, that's a game changer for some women. Okay, I know from the women of Silent No More, so many of the women who've had abortions and came to regret it, they said, you know what? If it wasn't legal, I would never have considered it. So see, we know legality gives permission. So if we can overturn Roe, that will be a game changer. And of course, a lot of states are passing laws that we call trigger laws. And in those states, when Roe is overturned, abortion will be illegal in their state. Louisiana is one such state that has done that thus far. So that's a great thing for you to work on in your states. Work and contact your state legislatures, if you have a good pro-life legislator in your state, to see if they're willing to sponsor such a bill and try to get it passed, that when Roe is overturned, abortion will be illegal in our state. All right, so I hope that answers your question. Okay, it says, what are your thoughts on using Save One as a follow-up to Rachel's retreat? A friend of mine and I are going to a train with Save One, so we can facilitate Zoom meetings, okay, with women. I've been to 2 Rachel's Vineyard retreats and gave my testimony with you guys this past. Oh, okay. Bridget. Okay, great. You were in DC. Wonderful. What do I think about Save One? I know Sheila Harper. Save One is a great abortion recovery program. It's a Bible study-based program. And very often, you think about it. I always say, like, we can have a lot of abortion recovery programs because you know what? Even like I said, when the day comes when we overturn Roe, the healing is just going to have to continue. I mean, there's such a fallout, as we know, from abortion. And very often, maybe the next retreat in your area, especially now with COVID, won't happen maybe for a few months from now because the retreat centers are still closed. Well, if they can start a Save One Bible study, absolutely. Absolutely. And what about after you go through a Save One Bible study, then maybe you'll go on a Rachel's Vineyard retreat. Or if you've done a Rachel's Vineyard retreat, there's no harm in doing a Save One Bible study, because you know why? So many of the women, I think, Bridget, you would agree with this, women from Silent No More say, healing is an ongoing process. It's ongoing. It's like peeling a layer of an onion. Every time you take another step, another layer is peeled away. And so many of the women, Bridget, like yourself, who have come to Washington, D.C. and given their testimonies have said, standing up there with that I regret my abortion sign and, telling our testimonies. So many of these women say we do it for the memory of our child and we do it to change hearts and minds. We can reach another woman, who maybe is also hurt and thinks she's alone. But by we standing up saying we regret our abortion, she says, oh my goodness, I feel that way too. And also you're reaching women who are considering an abortion, right? Because, most women, when they're out to have that abortion, they know it's a baby. But for whatever the circumstances they're being thrust into, they're frightened. They're afraid. I can't do this. But they're not thinking about what's going to happen to themselves. But if they hear those stories of regret, they're like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize this will impact me. I think having this baby is going to be a terrible impact, but you know what? I don't want to live with a lifetime of regret like those ladies. And it's a game changer. Babies are alive today because of people like you, Bridget, who stood up and gave your testimony. So I hope that answers your question. I think, just about every abortion recovery program is great. We need more people doing abortion recovery because there's so many wounded people out there. And if anyone is looking for abortion recovery in their area, we have a great simple web page. Go to abortionforgiveness.com. Again, abortionforgiveness.com. Put in your zip code and you'll see where's the nearest help for you. Okay, Philip, has a question. It says, how do we change the narrative about abortion? How do we help both women and promote their rights, yet protect the rights of the unborn? Okay, well, first of all, I think when you're talking about abortion, I think you have to talk about the woman first, all right? See, because very often when people are having these discussions about abortion, they think you're just standing up for the baby and you're not considering the mom, all right? So I think if you, if you consider what can happen to the mom, What you need to say things like, do you realize that unlike what Bill and Hillary Clinton said, oh, we want to make abortion safe, legal, and rare. Okay, first of all, making it legal did not make it safe, and it did not make it rare. But the safety part is the part you can focus in for. And in fact, like I told you, my book, Recall Abortion, that's what I do in this book. I show the damage abortion has done to women. And I show you that there's never a case where abortion, it's always bad for the baby. But what I do in this case, I show it's always bad for the woman too. And I'm talking about cases of rape, incest, life of the mother, fetal anomaly. It's all in here. So again, like I said, if you want a copy of this book, really just send me an email at orders@priestforlife.org. Give us your address, okay? And I'll be sure to I'll have my staff tomorrow ship out a copy to you. I'd love you to read it, because this will give you the kind of arguments of changing, like you're saying, the dialogue to be on a more woman-centered. Because as soon as you say that you're standing up for the women too, that diffuses a lot of people right then and there. And, very often people think that we in the pro-life movement are against the women who have had abortions. And no, that's totally the opposite. We're here to reach out a hand and say, no, we understand what happened. We're here to help you, to bring you to healing. Jesus' message is all opening the arms of the Lord. His mercy is there for us always. And so I hope that answers your question. And anyone, like I said, who wants my book, I will send it to you as a little gift. Just orders@priestforlife.org. And get me that email, give me your address, and I'll get the book out to you with my staff tomorrow. Okay, so Beth Gilmore, she writes, what do we need to do between now and the election? Oh my goodness, Beth, do we have a lot to do? First of all, you have to make sure you're registered to vote. And every person that you know that's like-minded, of course, because we all have some pro-choice, pro-abortion people in our friends and family circles that we still can't get on the right place with this issue. But with the people you know that are like-minded, you have to make sure they're registered to vote. That's step one. So at Priest for Life, we have a simple webpage you can go to. Checkyourregistration.com. Again, checkyourregistration.com. You go there and it gives you a few little steps to put in. Make sure your registration is up to date and valid. And if it's not, we have the links right there, how to do your voter registration online. Because unfortunately, a lot of places are currently restricted hours to get to voter registration because of the COVID-19. Their hours, the places are not open every day, limited hours. But this is stuff you can do online. So you all can be ambassadors of this message. Get your friends and family to check their voter registration. Go to checkyourregistration.com. And then get other people to do the same. Now, if you want to go one step further, you can join our election volunteers. At prolifevolunteer.com, we have a great sign-up form there. Fill that out, all right, because we have a full-time staff person. His name is Byron White, and he's our political outreach associate. And every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, Father Pavone and I and Byron do Zoom calls for our volunteers. We always have a guest presenter on the Zoom call to inspire you and give you, some thoughts about the election. So we've had some people like Dale Hudson, Dr. Michael New, Billy Valentine, who works for the Susan B. Anthony list, and we're going to have others. Every week we have a guest, and then we go into some practical things and tools that you can do to make sure that we re-elect President Trump. We have to also, we have a third of the Senate is up for re-election, so we've got to keep gaining seats in the Senate. And then finally, the entire House is up for re-election. So goal, re-elect President Trump. We have to get to 60 seats in that Senate. We only have 52 now, I think. We got to get to 60. We need 8 more. Okay, so we got to increase the Senate. And we got to get back that House from Nancy Pelosi. Can you believe what Nancy Pelosi did? The bill that we were trying to get a bill just out of committee to the floor of the House to vote on born alive. That when a baby is born alive in an abortion, if that baby is breathing and that heart is beating and it's born alive, You have to take an emergency to the hospital for treatment. And you know what the Democrats want to do? They want to let that baby lay there and die. They want to refuse medical treatment. I want to say, if you're there and you see your dog have puppies, and one of the puppies is having trouble breathing, are you going to rush it to the vet, or are you going to just say, we have 3 other puppies, we're not going to worry about that puppy? No. And if that happened, everyone would be outraged. You got to give care to that puppy, don't you? Come on, I see all those animal commercials on TV, right? Which, believe me, I have 2 dogs, Lorenzo and Gianni. I love dogs. And I think we should protect the dogs too. But if we can in this country protect the life of a baby when it's born, there is something radically wrong. And Nancy Pelosi would not even let that bill come, even though the Democrats, okay, they had enough votes to vote down that law, because that's why she's Speaker of the House right now, because they have the majority. But she didn't want her members going on record of voting against the Born Alive bill. So what did she do? She blocked it. She kept it locked up in committee. She's a coward. Oh, there's a picture of one of my dogs. There's Gianni. There's my dog, Gianni. Isn't he cute? Gianni is 8.5 years old. And I have another puppy, Lorenzo. I don't know if we have a picture of Lorenzo. I'll have to have my crew see if they can find Lorenzo for you. Lorenzo, his parents are actually show dogs. And he just turned on July 19th, 1 year old. So Lorenzo has this little active puppy running around him. And Lorenzo's more of a lap dog. Lorenzo just likes to chill. And actually, I bring them here to the office. So maybe on one of these afternoon shows, I'll have my dogs here. I'll let them just say a quick hello. And then I got to get them into the studio, because guess what? Lorenzo likes to chew the wires of the microphones if he gets his teeth on them. Anyway, okay. Janine has a question. What is the name of that book again? Oh, sure, I'll hold it up. It's called Recall Abortion. And just send me an email at orders@priestforlife.org, and I will have my staff send you out a copy tomorrow. Really pass it around, because, the arguments are all in here laid out, and you read this and you'll be able to really discuss this issue. But to go back to the election for a minute, now's not the time to waste our time trying to convince people that are not pro-life, or convince people, why they need to be pro-life to vote. We've got to deal with what's called the low-hanging fruit, the people who already agree with us, but maybe are saying they're so disgusted about everything, say, I'm just not going to vote this year. We can't do that. There's so much at stake between this defunding the police. I mean, come on. Yes, there's good cops and bad cops. But look, there's a picture now. We found a picture. That's Lorenzo when I first got him. The first day I picked him up there he is, when he was a puppy. Isn't he cute? With his little tie on. So that's my Lorenzo baby. But anyway, to go back to the election, we want to deal with what they call the low-hanging fruit. The people who are already pro-life, they get it, but maybe they're just not inspired enough to understand. Well, at Priest for Life, you can go to our webpage, voteprolife.com, and we've got some great stuff up there to help you convince these people why they need to go back out and vote for President Trump. So, for example, we have a video there, the 10 quick accomplishments of President Trump. And of course, he's done a lot more than just 10 things. He's done hundreds of them, starting with over 200 conservative judges that he's appointed. So there's so much at stake. And you know what? I understand. Some people, maybe you don't like his personality. Maybe some people don't like his Twitter feed sometimes. Even I sometimes say, oh, Mr. President, did you have to tweet like that? But you know what? You're not, by voting for him, canonizing him, okay? It's not a canonization. He's a human being. And did he have a past? Listen, I'm from New York. We've known the Trump family as New Yorkers for decades, okay? Did he have, maybe he was known as a playboy and this and that? But he's changed. He's reformed his life. And do you know, here's another thing about President Trump you may not know. Do you know he never drank and never smoked? It's a pretty clean house. Clean life for someone who was claiming to be a playboy so much, right? So, what we want to do is look at what he has done and what he will do. He's promised, okay, that if a pro-life bill gets on his desk, he'll sign it into law. So you don't have to like him, but what you're going to like is what he'll do and what he's done already. There's another page you can go to. It's called Promises Kept. Just Google that, Promises Kept. And that will show you all the things that President Trump ran on. He kept those promises. Do you know what one such thing is? He was one of the only presidential candidates to give out a list. If I'm elected president, and if I have an opportunity to name a Supreme Court justice, here's my list. I'm going to pick from this list. And at the time, people said, oh, he's just fooling us. He's not going to really pick from that list. Guess what he did? He picked from that list. And guess what the president has said once again? He said, come September, he's coming out with another list. If he's elected again, he's going to come out, okay, here's the current list. If I'm reelected president and I get an opportunity to appoint a Supreme Court justice again, here's my list. That's being an open book with us. Think about what else he did. The HHS mandate, if Hillary Clinton got into the White House, I probably wouldn't be talking to you right now. Because Priests for Life, we were right there with the Little Sisters, okay? We also filed with the Little Sisters. I mean, everyone focuses on the Little Sisters, but there were like 20 some odd organizations that went to the Supreme Court, including myself, Father Pavone, and Alveda King. We were personal plaintiffs. My name was taken to the Supreme Court because you know why? I said here at Priests for Life, we will not provide abortion and contraception in our healthcare for our employees. And that's perfectly fair. Anybody who comes to work for Priests for Life, they know exactly what they're getting themselves into. I mean, we have a big sign here in our office that says, we're not just here to end abortion, fight abortion, we're here to end it. And then we have, let's all give 100%. I mean, it's you know what you're getting into. So imagine that we all had to do this and the Obama administration was going to force us, or pay all these fines. We would have put us all out of business. And guess what President Trump did? He ordered his Department of HHS to remove the mandate from us, just like that. And so why did the Little Sisters go back to the Supreme Court? It really wasn't the Little Sisters that went back to the Supreme Court. It was the Trump administration had to get dragged to the court. Why? The state of New Jersey and Pennsylvania, those two state attorney generals decided to sue the Trump administration, okay, and the Department of HHS for what they did to help us all by getting rid of the mandate. So because the Little Sisters had convents in those two states, they said, oh, let's jump in on the lawsuit too. So they did. And anyway, we saw that the Little Sisters, what can I say? But we prevailed. We prevailed in that case. But Joe Biden, you know what he said? If he becomes president, he's going to undo what President Trump did with the HHS mandate. He's going to put it back in place. He said, I'm going to force the Little Sisters and all those other religious organizations that they have to provide contraception and abortion in their health care. So I hope that gave you enough to think about, to ponder about, and know how important this election is. And if you want to get involved with us, just go to prolifevolunteer.com. Father Frank and I, we need you on our team. There's so much to do, and every vote is going to count. Well, until next time, this is Janet Marana, the Executive Director of Priests for Life. Thank you for joining me.